You're on.
Okay, being that it's 6 o'clock, I'm gonna bring this finance committee meeting of March, it's not March 16th.
No, it's not.
23rd.
Wait, what day is it?
That was-
March 24th,
It's supposed to be this.
to order, yeah, to order, okay. So first of all, I'd like to look for an approval of the February 17th
Motion.
minutes.
Second?
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Move on to old business. Do we have any expenditure reductions yet?
No.
Okay.
No one's going on safari.
No, we're not doing that. And Multnomah County tax discussion?
Sorry.
Anything new on that?
Nothing new on that. I'm still attempting to contact PDE and PASBO and just have not received any response back, so.
Not surprised. All right, next we move on to bills and financial report review. I did ask a couple of questions, so I'll say them here. If you want me to, I'll say them Thursday too, but I'll say them here. So I just asked, there was a professional services for $10,000 check to an individual, and I just asked what that was, but apparently it's a PHEEA student teacher payment that the state pays the district and then the district pays the student teacher. There was a bunch of travel reimbursements. I just asked where's everybody going? So some of it was professional development, build it between buildings. Basically, that was it.
Yeah, some of those travel were, some of the elementary teachers going to visit other schools that are implementing some of the
The new
new
stuff.
materials. They're just doing like a site visit for a half a day to go visit some of those.
Yeah. And then I just wondered what we were paying Valley Site Works for, $3,410, and it was road salt, surprise. And ceiling tiles and drywall and studs from Trev Dam Building Supply for $1896.40. That was it. Does anybody else have any questions about expenditures? No? Okay. All right.
Yeah, so just real quick,
yeah,
I mean,
go ahead.
you guys can certainly look through the financials, but I do like to point this one out, just because it's relevant to our discussion last night and moving forward. On the cash statement, you see right here, we have in the capital reserve fund, over $8.1 million sitting in there to be used for capital projects. Now, we do have a plan for that money. We talked about it, I think it was a year ago. Maybe it was even longer. But we do have a plan for all the roof projects for the next, I think it's 4, maybe 5 years. That money is, with a lot of assumptions being made, the cost of the projects 4 years from now, who knows, interest earnings, but we do have enough money in there with annual transfers into the capital reserve fund that we do. We did this year already. It was in the budget. We have it in, at least for now, in the budget for next year. But if we keep putting money in there, we have enough money to pay for all the roof projects.
Yep. And the turf fields.
We need to come up with a little bit more in years 4 and 5 to cover the roof projects, and if we're using some of that for the turf. But that's pretty far out.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
And if I can piggyback on top of that, at the facilities committee meeting last night, we were discussing long-term plans for projects for the district, such as needed renovations for the high school, the 4-5 center. So, this is something that the administration is going to start coordinating with us over the next few weeks and months, so we can start having an in-depth discussion for that, to determine our plans for the next few years and how we're going to fund them.
Yep. Makes sense to me. Anything else?
That's all I want to
Okay.
know.
Any questions on that stuff? All right.
Does the committee recommend board approval Thursday night?
Yes.
Yes?
Mhm.
What's that for?
For the bills.
For the bills.
Okay.
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah.
This is the new way we decided to go
Yeah.
through these.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll do it ahead of
Committee
time
review it
instead of
first.
after.
I just want to make sure we weren't adding a new motion, but that's already in the.
Yeah, it's already there.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on to new business discussions, presentations, starting off with UPS Technology purchase 2627. Mr. Roth.
So, a request for support. We have a major component of our data center called the UPS. It's an uninterruptible power supply. It's a big
I
pack.
can't hear you that
It's a
well.
very large battery pack. with an inverter that supports our systems when the power goes out, in between the time that the power goes out and the generator comes in. It's 15-plus years old. It's been aging. About 5 years ago, I had the batteries replaced in it, and we kind of knew we had life coming on this device, and we were planning for upgrades in the next fiscal year. We're still planning that. That's where the money is budgeted. There's $80,000 in the 26-27 budget to cover this. But we find now, with what's going on in the world with supply and demand, that the lead time on this is 25-plus weeks.
Yeah.
So what I've come to you about is and this is somewhat Drew's recommendation, and talking with the auditors, everything would work on their side, would be to be allowed to place the order, sign the contract, place a PO in this fiscal year, which would roll into a PO for next fiscal year with a do not ship, do not bill. They're telling us you're not going to see it ship. It's 25 weeks out. So this thing would ship in August, September, maybe even October. We'd be in the next fiscal year. But we thought in this case, which I've done in the past, whenever we need to have you commit to an unapproved budget,
Right.
a line item in an unapproved budget, and this is something, if you came to me and said you have to cut, this is not something that we would even consider to cut because of its age. They're telling us parts are becoming few and far between. Alone, it needs new batteries again. It's calling the signal for new batteries right now, interestingly enough, at 5-6 years in, and it needs new capacitors. So just the minimum between like the capacitors would be $9,000 or $10,000, and the batteries alone would be $6,000. The other thing I wanted you to know is the benefits of our scaling and moving more and more to the cloud. Keith would understand this. We've moved more and more out of our data center, so we did downsize this new one pretty significantly. The original projections were going to be much more. So we downsized this. We chose a modular design so that we can go fairly small, and if we should grow for any reason or internalize things, we can add a module in the future. So it's new. The newest technology, come with brand new batteries, new system. It is $76,421 and some change, about pretty close to 50-50 hardware and installation. An outside firm would supply the device and install it. So should you approve this, the only thing I have left to do is sit down with Mr. Rohrbach and just let him know what's happening, see if he's got any concerns, because the outside company handles everything, so I don't see any issues there. And I'd like to be able to place it and get the order done. So we're looking for just, your awareness of that and guidance.
Now, you said that you're currently getting warnings about capacitors and batteries, so you're going to have to do some
Capacitors are
replacements
of
between
age.
now and
When they
then.
came in and did the PMs, they told us, yes, you need the capacitor replacement, that would be this much, and the batteries themselves they signal every 5 years to replace them, so.
So you're
They
going to
still
replace that.
test okay, but their recommendation.
Will they be replaced this fiscal year, or is that included in the
We're not
next
gonna,
fiscal?
we're not gonna do any of that. We're
We're
gonna
just postponing
we're-
until we
we're
get the
gonna-
new.
Everybody
Just wanna
feels we're
order it
okay
and
and
have-
parts are available for this to make us into the summer.
So wait, so we pay when we order or no?
We pay when we receive.
We pay when we
pay with
receive
next
and
year's
so
fiscal
it
dollars,
would
which
come
is
out.
why we're here now, because
Okay.
if we were in the normal budget, you would have already approved the budget. We did discuss this. I told you that UPS, you may not recall that UPS is on the IT budget. But when we're ahead of that schedule, you're committing to dollars that the board has.
That we haven't
And that happens from
formally
time
approved.
to time. So Drew, if you can.
So this amount is budgeted, but not, certainly our budget is not approved yet, so you're asking for an advance.
Well, at least on the PO, the commitment
Just
that
for the
if
not
the
for
whole
the
thing
vote.
goes belly up, you wouldn't come back to me and say, cut the UPS, you can't buy it now.
Right, so
Right.
you're
Out of
just
a
asking.
$1-point-something million budget, I think.
You're
we're fine
asking
with those things, so.
that you can submit the purchase order now, we'll pay in the.
Because
fiscal
25
year.
weeks is a long time.
Right.
And it could get longer.
What's half a year?
And prices are going up. It's already gone up since we quoted it last summer.
Will we order with that price we locked in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any cancellation charges?
Any cancellation
Yeah,
charge?
if you change your mind and want to go with somebody else.
I mean, there would be, but we've been through this, we've vetted that.
It's just the concern is that we're basically committing to funds that the board has not approved yet in the formal budget. But we do the PO, that's a contract, we're locked into paying for that
Right.
piece of equipment, but the board has not approved the budget yet. So we don't want to, don't like to
It's a courtesy.
commit the funds before the board has really approved the budget.
If worse
Yes.
came to worse, we'd be able to pull that out of our reserves,
Yes.
our capital
Yeah.
fund. So one way or
Right, we
another,
have-
we could, we could explain it and expense it.
Yeah. IT has that reserve of, you know, money. So this was, and partly this is some of that. We're talking about the upcoming data center upgrades and so forth. So you can decide before you get the final budget where those funds come from, but they are next year's funds.
UPS is the name of the company?
No,
UPS is
it's
a device and
uninterrupted
an
power
uninterruptible power supply.
Okay.
The company that we're purchasing from is called E+, but DVL or Vertiv is actually the supplier. In fact, we saved a little bit of money and just went back to them for our support contract on some of the Smart Row and some other things instead of going through E+, because they just kind of add on.
Yeah.
But this, we had to do that. So the whole thing's been spec'd by DVL, which you may know that name, or Vertiv. They own APC and some of these other guys now, I think. And they did the whole spec. They'll be the installers, and the PO will be to E+, who will be used for years for certain things.
Your generator backup,
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I don't know the age
This is
of that,
the
or
between.
that's a building generator that kicks in and comes in supply, so.
All right, I vote yes to Jim's flux capacitors.
Yeah, I'm
Thank
okay
you.
with that.
Thank you.
I'm
That's a
okay
valve
with
and a
doing it
flux
early.
capacitor, right?
That's called planning ahead, that's
How many
it.
gigawatts is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
10
Million
gigawatts.
It's a gigawatt.
Gigawatts.
It's 30, right? So we have what we need then?
Everybody else?
I'm okay with that.
Okay,
You good?
yep,
Okay.
Thank
let
you.
her
So I'll
roll.
talk to you tomorrow about what we need to do to finish. Man.
Thank you, Jim. Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks, Jim.
thank you.
You're not staying? Oh, man.
Unless you want me to.
We have more exciting
I know my
things to
conversations
talk
are so
about.
riveting.
Yes, we are, we are. All right, well, I guess we'll move on to the old 26-27 budget presentation. Today, salaries, benefits, revenue, and final summary.
Yep.
All the good stuff.
Good stuff, yeah. So this is where we've been, wow, and are going in April. So yeah, tonight, as you said, salary, benefits, revenues, and we'll look at the overall budget, and then April finance, we'll talk about what the recommendation is to the full board for the proposed final budget discussion. And then just here's the May and June schedule for the budget. So we'll jump right in. The format here is gonna be, you can see those line items, salary, and then FICA and retirement are basically the payroll, tax expenses that we have. Retirement being the PSERS system that we're state mandated to pay in. And then you have the other benefits there. I'll highlight the medical and the prescription. Those are the largest cost items among the benefits. So we're starting off, we're going by the PE code expenditure codes. So this is 1100, you'll see up there in the top left. That is regular classroom teachers. We'll just keep going on here, but this is the bulk of our teachers are here in the regular classroom teachers, not special ed. Here are the special ed teachers. Again, salary and benefits, we're seeing an increase here in salaries, and also you can see the medical there is going from 731 up to 786, so we do have our second look rates through our consortium are 8% for medical and prescription combined. The trend is 8% in the world for health insurance, so basically what that's saying is we're not anticipating claims increasing from where we are right now, but just the cost of all the services and all the goods that are purchased, they think that's gonna go up 8%, so that's why our increase is 8%. So we're just on trend.
That's a pretty normal amount.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me be clear, so you're saying the increase between last year and this year is 8%
For medical and prescription for
Together.
district-wide, yeah.
district-wide?
Yeah.
And you're saying that's across the state?
So the 8% is a trend that our consultant finds with their, I mean, it might be national, but at least in their book of business, what they see, they're
Okay.
seeing an 8% trend from all the health providers.
Our ours went up 18%.
Right.
Oh,
So that's good, 8% is good. That's what I'm gonna say.
Question, on both the regular teachers and the special ed teachers, there's a line item for other employee benefits?
Yeah, so, if people retire, they're paid out their sick time,
Okay,
until like a 403B or so, we have to code that into a separate, code. And any 403B contributions that we have for staff, all goes in under the other employment benefits.
and apparently that's new for you to be coding it that way.
So, we've always been spending it,
Uh-huh,
but it hasn't been coded there. So,
Okay.
yeah, so starting in the 25-26 budget, I am trying to more accurately match where we're spending it.
okay, thank
so,
you.
so that could change,
Absolutely.
depending on who goes
Oh, yeah,
out.
yeah, correct,
Okay.
yeah.
Is that just a token amount that you put in there, or is that something that you actually calculated from?
So when we get down to the actuals, at the way end, at the end of it, I usually try to look for that at the actuals from 24-25 and try to say that's what I'm gonna put for 26-27. I don't remember the exact numbers, but we'll get to that slide and we'll see.
Okay.
We have minimal resignations this year as of right now.
Correct, yeah.
Right now we have 2.
Right.
And those are not reflected in these numbers,
Right.
just because I think, well, maybe one of them, maybe they both were board approved, but I did not get the changes in, to these numbers.
Okay. All right.
Alternative ed, this is pretty much just homebound instruction. So those teachers that do, it is all homebound. So for those teachers that do assist with our students that are homebound. You can see the actuals right there, the $152 in 24-25, but we're already over $1,500 for this current year.
Okay.
So I'm kind of just shooting somewhere in the middle there.
Okay.
Support services, so what's included here is our guidance counselors, psychologists, and social workers. They are all coded in the 2100 function.
Okay. Again, we don't have any additions in any of these. These are, if
You
we
do
have
with
the
the social
same.
worker. The social
Yeah.
worker, we're
That's-
trying to work into the budget is, right now, the proposal is to take, it's been taken the past 3 years from a grant.
Mhm.
That dries up, so there's
Okay.
money in here, I think, in the new.
Yeah, so that was a little tricky in that it's been on the expenditure side, we just had the revenue to sort of pay for it. Now, when we look at the revenues, there's gonna be no revenue for that state
Right.
grant, but the expenditure is still in there. And we do have additional slides to take a look at proposed new
Sorry, I got it.
personnel.
Got ahead of
So we
myself.
can't apply again for?
We did apply.
We did.
We did
Did we
apply.
not get it?
I don't
or
know
we
the answer to that, but I just think there's a concern that that's gonna dry up and then we'll
Okay.
be sitting here without,
We'll be minus one instead of.
well, we minus
equal.
one, right, yeah.
Oh.
And that money can be used in other areas, we just have used it in the social worker the past couple of years.
And who's the grant maker for that? Is it state or federal?
That's state, it's the PCCD, the Pennsylvania Crime,
I don't remember what it stands for.
something in
I
delinquency,
hate
crime and
acronyms.
delinquency or something.
It's state funds.
It's state, it's coming from the state.
Yeah.
The only
Not-
reason I say it that way is I don't know if they're getting it from the feds or if it's actual, I think that's in the state budget, so I'm pretty confident it's state money.
It's from that Governor Rendell, I think that, like, enacted the.
Were you even
Same.
alive when Rendell was a governor? I'm so old.
Good question.
I do.
So if you hear, we talk about safety and security money,
Yeah,
that's the
That.
funds, yeah.
yeah,
And
that's,
that's-
I think Rendell, if I remember right.
And maybe, I'm not entirely certain.
When are the grants awarded?
Um,
September, October?
They're fairly early in the year.
But not before we finalize our budget.
I don't think it's before then.
Well, if it's a part of the state budget, then it's never before we approve our budget.
Good luck, Chuck,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
Right.
and that state money could always be cut out of the state budget, but it hasn't for the last couple of years.
And how much is that, if we get it?
That has been around $80,000,
That's it?
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and we'll move on to the 2200 function. This includes our librarians, our special ed administrators, and this also includes the curriculum department, if there's curriculum development. So if we pay additional hours towards teachers to write additional curriculum, that's all included in here. And any professional development that we do pay in salary for our staff members that do extra professional development.
For us, obviously.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
So that's all included in these figures.
okay. All right.
All right, 2300 function is, this is our superintendent, assistant superintendent, our principals, also the administrative support staff that we have for the principals and of course our superintendent, assistant superintendent, admin support, and also tax collectors are included in this line item as well.
Okay. That's an odd grouping.
And that's an odd place.
Yeah,
to
I
put it.
know.
Auditors.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
The health, so this is our nurses, our LPNs, and our RNs. $2,500, that's our business office staff, and also it's Megan and I. It's also the admin support that are over here in the business office, and our payroll specialist as well.
For the 2,400, the retirement is going from 148 to 174, but the actual is 104. Do you remember what calculations you're using for that? And also down a little bit further, like the, it looks like workers' comp is going up quite a bit as far as budgeted.
Yeah, so the retirement amount is a strict 30, almost 34% of any salary. So if salary goes up, that's gonna go up as well. And workers' comp, also, we do pay, we are self-insured for workers' comp, but we do have to pay into the central fund at SDIC, and that's also based on salary. So when salary goes up, the amount that we have to pay in also goes up.
So I'm understanding that we have a new contract this year, so you're looking at different numbers
Yeah.
possibly there. I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and actually, if you look, which one was it? So the 23, if you look at the salary for the 2300 function, we're going from 2.195 to 2.182. But that's me looking at where we are, knowing the staff that we have, what they're gonna make. So it's just, there are corrections in here. So that maybe one line was too high, another one was too low. So I'm making those adjustments to try to get it right down to the actual close,
Okay.
but not go under.
Yeah. It's like a game show.
Oh, yeah, Price is Right.
Yep, that's it.
True.
All right.
If you ever go on there, I'll be on your team.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I think you're probably good at it.
Probably.
2600 function, that's gonna be our custodians, our maintenance, and our director of facilities, all are included in here, along with the half of an admin assistant that is in facilities, the other half of her is in IT,
Yep.
and also our security staff is, well, it's just our security guard that we hire in-house, the one that we have.
He's not Cardinal.
Not Cardinal Point, correct.
Gotcha. Cardinal.
Rodney.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, 2700, that's our transportation director and the half of a transportation administrative support position.
Director, and who else?
Half of an admin assistant.
Half an admin.
Yeah.
Where's the other half go?
The other half is business office.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, just checking. Okay.
All right, 2800 is IT department. That's obviously, she just walked out. So our director, the administrators in that department, Also, the IT support staff that we have at the buildings are included in here, and then the other half of an admin support.
And how many IT support staff do we have?
It's one at every building,
One in every
correct?
building?
Well, one's a half, it's,
Oh, well, yeah, one is not.
it's 3.5? 4.5, 3.5. I think it's 3.5.
I think that's right, yeah. Yeah,
There was 2 and 3 halves.
Yeah.
Put one
Oh,
together.
that's right, we put one together and
To
left that
maintain
half.
that, and then there's still a half.
Gotcha.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
All right, 3,200, so this is our, all the supplementals that are in the teacher's contract. Those non-athletic, well, and athletic, all those stipends are included in the 3,200 function, along with our director, the admin assistant, and all the game warmers, ticket takers, all that if it's paid by, through our payroll department, is run through this function right here.
It seems low with all the salaries and all the stipends.
Yeah, you can see the actual was 679 and 24.25.
Yes, I mean, that's 50,000 more. I know we added some stuff to it.
Yeah, a couple.
Okay.
But we readjusted a little bit here and there. We got rid of a few, so it might be close, but it might still be low.
I mean, those are numbers we can, I'm sure you just added up, just
Oh,
up here.
yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm definitely, and, you know, Dr. Roach will attest to this, we do go through, after this, we'll take a look, a closer look and sort of dig in and see if we can, any places that we can cut. And the longer we wait, the more data I have for this year to kind of look at, project for next year, so
Gotcha.
definitely keep working.
Yeah, it's only
keep
one.
working.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the summary. The budget for the 25-26 year salaries is 33.2, and this is going up to right about 35. That's a 5.2% increase in salaries. So there are increases contractually that we have, along with, in the next couple of slides, we'll take a look at those additional positions that were added in. Can be discussed, can be talked about later, but to be conservative right here up front, I just threw them all in. But the board can always talk about this stuff later and have further discussions there. But this is where we are with the salaries. So overall, salary and benefits, we're going from right about 53.9 million up to 57 million, which again includes that salary increase and also the 8% for medical and prescription.
That's it.
All right, so as we talked about additional salary requests, we do have this priority listing here. Just a 1, 2, or 3. 1 is a must-have, legal requirement, compliance. 2 is a strong recommendation, and 3 is just a nice-to-have. We don't have any 3s.
I was just gonna say
No,
repeats.
no 3s this year. So, additional salary is the first one up there is the BCBA. Those positions, we're not finding anyone that is coming in at the low end of the pay scale in the teacher's contract. So that one is bumped a little bit higher. The reason, that's why it's up to 135,000, whereas you'll see the ESL teacher is right there at 116,000. Now that includes family, I had a little note down here at the bottom. Family medical, family prescription, family dental, not knowing where these people are gonna come in. They could come in single or they could come in family, but.
But at least you're at the top end of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the BCBA, here's the district social worker we talked about. This one was grant funded for the last 3 years. But we are seeking to have this sort of absorbed by the district and not funded by the state. A level, or priority 2 is an LPN and RN. We've had I think it was an LPN contracted out with a company.
GHR.
Yep. So this is the increase of 79,000, and that's a budget increase of 79. That's on the high end. And you'll see that we do have a cut later on, taking that contracted position out of special ed. No, it was actually in the subs, I think. No.
So how does that contract
Contract services.
compare to the 79 for the
Uh,
RN?
So that contracted position is coming around $74,000 that we've spent. Now, I think if we post and hire that position, I'm anticipating that person would come in less than the 74 that we've been spending with GHR.
Well, that's two, okay, that's, is it just one?
Yeah, because you're also paying the contracting services,
Yeah.
the fee for them.
Yeah, but to be on the high end here, I do have $79,000 in the salaries for now.
Okay. And that would come out of the nurse, RN, and LPN budget?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yep, there's an additional ESL teacher that's requested there, just based on enrollment of students with those needs.
Right
Yeah,
now,
one-
right now, we have 2.6, so that one of the ESL teachers is teaching a gen ed section. But it's getting more and more challenging with the number of students that are coming in with ESL needs across 5 buildings. And there are mandates in terms of, based upon how they level with the WIDA testing, they have to get certain amounts of supports. They can only stretch so thin, so we have people in multiple buildings. This still will have multiple buildings, this is just a request to make sure we're serving them with the fidelity that is requested. We didn't bring you a whole laundry list of wishes.
No, it doesn't look like you did.
Try to keep it right where it was, in terms of,
They look pretty
goods
sensible.
items.
So currently you have 2.6.
We have 3, but one
ESL.
of the ESL teachers is teaching a section per day in the middle school in general English,
Like
yeah,
where,
gen ed,
yeah.
in an English class.
And then you need one whole more, so you need 3.6, or you wanna change that to 3? I just wanna be clear.
No, we're still gonna have 4 bodies. I'm not sure exactly if we can free up the middle school person, depending upon the class size rolling through, to not have to do that at English class. That will help support the ELD students at the middle school.
Right?
And lastly, there we do have an additional assistant boys track coach and assistant girls track coach in the budget as well.
This came up out of a conversation last year, kind of a 3-year roll-up. Last year was a different sport. This is year's track, and I guess there was a question for the following year on soccer, I believe it was basketball, last year. So, this can be justified simply by the number of people that are on those teams.
Yeah, they're big
Um,
teams. As we saw
Yeah,
yesterday.
so yesterday,
that's a regular one.
those we did, higher ones there, so.
Fun fact, I think Sandy Petrick moved back to this area, you know?
Mhm.
You know?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, perfect.
Girls coach, maybe.
So just a note down there at the bottom that these are included in those numbers that we just went through. So these are included in that budget. Also included in those numbers were these 2 positions that were added mid-year this year due to the extreme need that we had. We did add a BCBA and an additional special ed teacher that was added mid-year.
We haven't filled the BCBA position yet, so we're still trying. That's how difficult they are to fill.
Wow.
So that's still an open position, so we haven't spent that money.
Not so far for this year, I don't believe. That's where, as Drew's saying, when you're hiring someone that's in the collective bargaining agreement, and they're coming in with all this experience, or they're coming from out of industry, out of a different industry, it's hard to match up the salaries and what we would normally offer within a little flexibility. But as Georgie and I often talk about, we can't blow the whole scale up because someone wants 5 steps beyond what we have done. Like, that just jeopardizes the entire scale
Right.
for many other people. We have some flexibility, but not, that's a challenge. So we've lost some candidates based upon salaries that we felt we could do.
Yeah.
This was added mid-year but not filled, so this 135 is not two 135s, it's just the 135.
No, this is 2 separate. What's on the second page, which is that one, is added, but we,
Okay, so then it would be 2 positions at 135.
for next year, correct?
Yeah, next year.
Yeah.
The 135, let's say it would have been half of that if we filled it this year, which we still haven't filled. We
Right.
did just fill the special education teacher.
Right.
But even at 74, for this year, would only be from, let's say, last month to the end of the year salary, and then making sure that we're committed to that moving forward, which is the front of the slide.
Okay, so it was added mid-year, so it's going to carry over for next year.
Yes, the point
already.
was it's not new in terms of that. It's
Right, so that's gonna carry over,
Yep.
and then this would be in addition to that, so we'd have two.
Two BCBA's, correct? Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
that's the goal, with all the behaviors and things. And this is the ones that we've heard, that we've shared with our association, as well as their acknowledgement of appreciation to the board for supporting that at some point mid-year when we were going through these challenges at the elementary level,
And was the special ed teacher, was that filled?
just recently.
Okay.
Probably in
So-
February.
So that goes into next year, and it's already in the budget.
It's in for next year's budget.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
So does that make it two special ed teachers? One we filled this year and a new one for next year?
Not a
I'm
new
just
special,
double checking.
there's not a new special ed teacher in the realm
There's
for
no
next year.
new special ed
Yeah.
teacher.
Okay.
The previous slide with the BCBA district social work, those are all new money for next year. This
Okay.
slide with these two were, by the way, you guys approved this, so we are just being transparent, that's gonna carry through. We haven't spent the amount that's on the page there, but moving forward, those numbers will be budgeted for next year in addition to the other page.
If you reverse the slides, if you look at this with the
That's
two,
what I said.
we're already paying for those. It's already in our budget.
Yeah,
This is we're adding, so
yeah,
Right.
hopefully we'll,
that's what I was
Higher
saying, that it's
two.
two.
Yes.
It's two, but we already had one in the budget.
yes.
Right, and if we don't fill that position by the end of the year, then
The
that
BCBA.
135 will reduce what we actually spent
Correct.
this year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we're not doing any contracted services. Are there any contracted
There's
services?
some in this area, I don't know exactly, I mean, a full-time BCBA through the IU, you're looking at 185, 190. I mean, you're way-
I'm just
I'm saying
saying, yeah.
those are the numbers that,
Yeah.
if they can find them,
Yeah,
you know.
okay.
So what are the qualifications for that?
Are you interested?
Because you know anything else to do.
I don't have
Yeah, it's a
anything else-
specialized, it's a
I don't have
specialized,
anything else to do.
yeah, okay, we'll get you the information.
Okay. Specialize in what? Behavior?
Yeah, behavior.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Sign me up.
Polish off your resume.
Yep. All right.
You don't want to leave the board.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
And give up that salary?
Yeah, right?
That is my
As the
vacation
board.
home.
Yeah,
Give up this paycheck.
yep. All right, moving us
All
on
right.
to revenue.
On the revenue, so, I just always want to show this as, this is keeping the current real estate taxes completely flat. So it's almost saying, this is what it's gonna look like with a zero budget, so then we can talk about if the committee wishes to have any kind of tax increase. But these are the numbers that we're looking at with an absolute zero increase on real estate taxes. The interim taxes, it just does not look like we're gonna bring in 135,000 for this year. So I'm dropping that line down, $25,000 from 135 down to 110. The other decrease is the transfer taxes. We're just, I mean, you can see the actual number for 24-25 is $661,000. It does not look like we're gonna bring in $695,000 for this year. So dropping that $30,000 down to $665,000 for transfer taxes. Delinquent taxes also seems to be too high, so I'm dropping that down $50,000. And then interest revenue, there's been a lot of talk about decreasing the interest rates, even though I guess they just did not decrease them when they just met this week or last week, whatever it was. But I'm dropping that $100,000 with the assumption that the interest rates will be reduced by the Fed at some point in the 26-27 fiscal year. So those are the major changes right there. That's from 54 million down to about 53.9 million. It's almost $180,000 decrease in local revenues.
Can I ask a really dumb question?
Of course, there are no dumb questions.
No.
No.
So if we did zero, it's still gonna be 10%?
Correct.
Okay,
Well-
just saying, out loud.
This is basically showing a negative 10%
Okay.
because it's showing no increase
No
in
increase.
tax revenue. Yeah, this isn't technically even showing a 0%. This is showing a negative
Right.
10%.
I got it.
basically.
Another dumb question.
There are no dumb questions.
How is it that the delinquent on per capita taxes are so low?
The delinquent per capita,
Yeah. because per capita taxes are so low. That's a lot of money to come in for per capita tax delinquency.
Yeah, I mean, so we have what do we have, like 132,000 typically for per capita? Is that on there somewhere? Oh, yeah,
131.
131,000.
Yeah.
And then 28,000 of
It's delinquent.
is delinquent from either
That's a lot.
the prior year or the prior years. Yeah,
It's like almost 25%.
Which is still why we should have that conversation about getting rid of it. It's a waste of time. Okay. I
I'm
won't
with
say it
ya.
anymore. I won't say it anymore.
okay, state revenue. So I'm leaving the basic education subsidy flat for now. The estimated amount for the current year that we're in is 10.68 million. So that's about 80,000 and change more. And basically the same thing with the special ed subsidy. I'm leaving it basically the same. It's going up about $2,000 there, but the governor has proposed more money in the budget, but that's a whole negotiation that happens behind the scenes basically at the state, so no idea what's gonna happen, and to a previous Director McCarrick's point, they never have their budget done before ours, let alone rarely ever before June 30th. So we won't know probably until after our budget's done. There's two items here that I want to point out. It's the transportation subsidy and the rental subsidy. Both of them factor in STEB in their calculations. STEB increasing so high for us and for pretty much the entire state. That does factor into those calculations, which typically drives down our subsidies. It looks like we're going to get a little over 1.81 million in transportation subsidy for this current year. So already that $2 million that we have in the budget is too high. And probably the 1.87 might be too high as well, but I'm hoping it's close. And then the same thing with the rental subsidy. That decrease is really our share of the debt payments for the tech school. That calculation factors in STEB value as well, so I'm assuming that's also gonna decrease.
So they give it and they take it away.
Wait, did they give us anything?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Can we
Just
go
take it.
back to transportation so you heard right? We could get 1.8 million.
For this year.
Right. So that's
Not in
substantial,
addition.
that's a chunk of change
We always get
that
that.
we put back, right?
So I have in a budget $2 million for transportation subsidy for this
And
year.
if we get 1.8,
And if we get 1.8, then we lost out $200,000.
The
Over.
2 million is
oh,
what we
the 2 million
budgeted.
is what was budgeted.
What was budgeted, correct.
Okay, so we're not like, okay.
We're not,
They take
we're
it
not
away.
swimming in it, no.
They take
Okay.
it away.
They take it
They're
away.
taking away.
Yeah.
giving.
No.
So those are the main items. Now, there is an increase in the Social Security and retirement reimbursement, those last two line items, because the state does reimburse us 50% of our Social Security and retirement expense. So with those going up, our revenue is going to go up as well. So it almost offset the other decreases. So it's really a $32,000 decrease in state revenues. Federal, we don't know what our allocations are for Title I, Title II, or Title IV at this point. That typically comes out probably next month. So hopefully I can firm those numbers up. It may actually be a decrease. I just don't know what our allocations are gonna look like.
Have we received this year's,
Yes,
all of it?
we get it monthly.
Okay.
No less.
So there's the total revenues, 80.4 million is the 25-26 budget. It's going down to 80.286 million for next year. So, since we've been presenting since November, just taking a look at any changes that we've had since then. We talked a little bit about the charter school line item there, with the state law coming into effect. it looks like a $600,000 savings. So back in November, I was saying, I think charter schools are gonna be 4.5 million. Now when I factor that in, it looks like it's closer to 3.9 million, so
That's a bargain.
that was nice, yeah. We do, after reviewing the budgets after they were presented, in athletics, we did find another $500, that we would like in there for a wrestling tournament, and also, $6,000 for high school girls soccer uniforms. The board,
6,000, not 600.
6,000.
6,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, so a total $6,500 increase to the athletics budget
Okay.
from when it was presented in November.
Okay.
We are extremely grateful that the board approved CSIU as the financial software starting July 1, 2027. I had $19,000 in for implementation costs because that's the quote that we had with Skyward. CSIU is coming in right around $7,000 for implementation, so they are cheaper on implementation. So I'm able to reduce $12,000 there out of which I'm going to change to maybe school board and admin budget instead of business office, HR, school board, superintendent.
Mhm.
Try to call it something a little shorter.
Mhm.
Facilities.
Just don't make it an acronym, please.
Facilities, we got a bunch of changes here. We did get some savings on the electric usage. So when we save on the days that are really, really hot over the summer, like we cut back, PICO uses those, like the 5 hottest days, and says, well, that's your gonna be rate for next year. Mike and his team did a great job when we got those notices, hey, today might be a really hot day. Towards the end of the day, he cut back on the AC. We saved over $100,000 on our rates just by that work over the summer. So that was good. We did have $100,000 in there for security software. When the board heard a presentation on this, they were not interested in moving forward with it, so I was able to cut $100,000 out of that. Then we did add in an additional module in FMX, which was discussed in more detail, facilities last night. But that was sort of added back in or taken off of the other savings that we had. So I think it was, I put in 4,500, I think, in for that additional capital improvement module in FMX. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Something, yeah.
yep.
Right, to plot it
Extra
out over
software.
years.
To plot out, correct.
The
Yep,
years, so
yep.
we have history and numbers.
Yep,
And that's a yearly anyway, so.
yeah. So I sort of put that into the budget, but it really just kind of reduced the other two cuts. And then we did want to put in some additional repairs, just taking a look at our actual repairs over the last few years. They're pretty high, so we did throw just a little bit in there. So the net of all of that is a reduction of $159,000 out of the facilities budget. This is the $74,000 I'm taking out for the contracted position for the LPN RN. That was through a contractor. The 79 was putting the staff member in. This is 74 coming out of, it's in the assistant superintendent budget.
Okay.
And then we did need to add in $8,800 for next year for some adjusted quotes that we received for ELA and math in the curriculum budget.
Did we hear about that?
I'm trying to remember too.
Yes, I don't recall.
So we also had it later on the agenda,
Oh,
item D.
Okay.
But I think what happened with this is,
It's came out of EPS, I think, for this past, before she,
Yeah.
or right before she went out on leave, she put information out. I had forwarded an email from her with some adjustments, I think that's a part of it, because she worked with you to make sure we had that.
yes, we were working to make sure that we were within budget for this year. And in order to do that, it kind of adjusted, it kind of increased next year's by $8,800, but that's staying within budget for 25-26.
Okay.
So here is where we are, just reviewing all the different budgets. And I do have up there on the far right when we talked about all these. But these are the adjusted figures where we are at this moment. page there, you see the salaries and benefits, what we talked about tonight. So total expenditures are $88,967,311. We have revenues of $8,286,802. That's a deficit of $8,680,000. When I took a look back at the March meeting a year ago, that budget was at a $7.4 million deficit, and we ended up with it's right there, the 4.6 million. So there was a lot of work that was done in between March and the board passing a final budget in June to sort of trim back on that difference. So this is the worst case scenario budget right here. The most conservative, the worst case, the no additional money from the state, flat tax revenue, all of that. This is the worst case. So that's where we are.
Drew, can you update this for the 316 change at 324, so we'll put this publicly on the farm, this.
Oh, I did on 316, yeah.
Just put it tonight, that way it won't
Yeah.
confuse people.
Yep.
So in order to get to, a bottom line, in order to get to the $8.6 million deficit, can you tell me what a tax increase would need to be?
So the last three lines right there. So if the board increased the millage up 4.2%, which is our adjusted Act 1 index, we would bring in an additional $7,088,000.
Okay, thank you.
And then that would leave us still short almost a 1.6 million.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
That's 7 million with STEB at 10%.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
it's
So it's really like a 14, 15
$1 million
percent.
difference. Okay.
So normal 2.5%, 3% increase, and we usually netted 1.4, 1.5, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But this is including that STEB issue, which
Yeah. Usually 1% is around 480, 490,
$500,000,
495, something like that.
Okay.
All right. Pretty much went through all the questions, I would assume, but if there are any other questions?
We know where to find you.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything at the moment for that?
It just looks like the increase is the salaries and benefits.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty
It's
much
a-
$1 million a year for,
Right.
for,
Right.
in total,
Right,
for our teacher's contract. pretty
Right.
much. If I remember correctly.
Any final questions before we move on?
Yeah, okay. Move on. Yes.
Just an informational question. I have a lot of good ideas for saving money through the innovation fair. Are any of those like reliable ideas?
I don't know if there's anything that would impact, we would, I'd hope that potentially was there. There was a couple ideas in terms of curriculum, consolidating. That's happening right now with discussions when we're transitioning from Power School and saying we don't need this. So that's still an ebb and flow piece there. I don't think there was anything that came out besides to date right now, besides the pressing of it's not going to be a revenue increasing. The high school parking lot painting has some steam here, so we may see that here by the end of April for a next year thing. But nothing initially that jumped off the page as being something that would really impact the budget for.
Was there,
Nothing volunteer.
There was one, is that yours, Megan? Using one building during the summer?
Yeah.
I mean, when we talked about the cost savings on electricity last summer, just by adjusting the thermostat, if we were to only use one building for whatever summer programs are, is that possible?
It's possible, but we're gonna be moving all sorts of furniture from Hereford over to the middle school. So that's gonna be manpower to just, that piece to it. So it would save on either electricity, even though the buildings are still in use. It's possible, but I think there's some counter to that in terms of manpower to prepare that, to bring it one way, because you can't just simply put elementary kids in the school itself. You have pick up and drop off and those things as well.
Right,
So
right. No, I understand all that. I think think it's something worth exploring. I mean, you know, every savings is savings. And, you know, if we can save on, you know, building usage during the summer, I think that's a decent thing to explore.
Thanks.
Excuse me, but wasn't there a problem a couple years ago with turning letting the temperature go up? We wound up with some algae or fungus in the.
No, we don't talk about that F word, that M word. As the other
But we
word.
did have a problem.
Yeah.
By adjusting the temperature too much.
Yep, yeah, and the buildings are gonna be in, whether they call it unoccupied mode, there's still gonna be, the air conditioned areas, there's still gonna be some air. The question is the impact on the classrooms, and that's for a month. It's what we learned today, July 6th through the 30th. So it's kind of a one, that, the ESY program is pretty much that
Yeah.
1 month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mean to yell at you, Josh.
I know,
I know you did.
but I remember that.
Yeah, I
It
know.
cost us some money, didn't it?
It sure did, yeah.
Yep, and we're happy to talk to Mr.
Big thing for insurance.
Mr. Rohrbach
Yeah.
to see what the potential savings is. And I don't know, the building's not necessarily shut down unless we were to truly shut them down and, you know, keep minimal things going on there, but they have their building cleanings and all the normal,
Yeah, that's true, they do a
How
lot
about
of.
to-
Yeah, I
over
know,
the
I
summer
know there's a
maintenance.
lot of summer maintenance that goes on, painting and cleaning, deep cleaning and all that sort of thing. But I just
Yeah, we
thought it
don't want to
was,
sweat that to death either, yeah.
I thought that was, you know, just an interesting
Yeah.
concept to think
Mhm.
about.
yeah.
It
I think if it
was.
was a couple of years ago where we had multiple programs, one at Hereford, one at Marlboro, one at the 4-5, through the grant funding coming out of ESSER, we had all this
Mhm.
summer money, let's call it, which we don't have any, nor use anymore. That may have been a different way to approach those things,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So, and we can take a look at it, and there, you know, there's definitely some movement and some familiarity with students in the, settings for the ESY program.
Just always thinking, you know, if we save a
No,
little here and
of
save a
course.
little there, it's like adds up at the time.
Yep.
Sure. Okay, I guess we're ready now to move on to real estate tax collection manual.
Okay, so with the change in the collectors and us not having a tax software, I really felt like we should have some sort of manual that showed their expectations of us and our expectations of them. Kind of just having everything out there clear, it's in black and white, so we don't have any more questions because it's been an adjustment to work through all this, and we're still working through certain items. But just to have it out there, so there's no more questions, we have everything answered as much as we can. So I put this together, I got an example, just why, I have no idea why it's saying Council Rock up here, but I did possibly borrow
We never heard it.
Oh,
from
boy.
someone, but it's
I was
not,
gonna say, did you write this?
it's not saved as Council Rock, so I have no idea why that's showing up. But anyway,
5-page.
so, we're not gonna go through all of this, but I did just highlight a couple things here that I wanted to touch on. I put this in here as an AR to policy 606. I don't know if that's what we want, if that's what it should be. If we only had a policy expert in the room, maybe we could talk with them, but I just don't know if that's what we want, if that's what it should be, or it could just be a manual that's out there, that's given to the tax collectors, and we keep to. But it really is related to policy 606, which is a tax collection policy. So that's out there.
We can throw it to Kyle. like,
We could, yeah. I mean, I know,
Just put it to policy and look it over, we can at least look it over anyway.
Yeah, but should it be an AR, like?
yeah, so we can certainly, yeah.
Okay.
So I did want to highlight here under additions and revisions to the duplicates, so this is really talking about interim bills and interim changes to the assessed value of the property. So right here, the tax collectors will process interims and provide copies to the district for review prior to sending interim bills to property owners. So before, well, it'll still happen, we still get notified from Berks and Montgomery County when there's a change in the assessed value of a property. We ran it through our system, created the interim and sent it out, and then the collectors can log into our system at that time, and they would see all the interims that went in and out. But it was just funneled right through our system. Now, we're all gonna get notified of the changes, but it's kinda like, okay, well now who does it? 'Cause we don't have anything. So They did prefer for themselves to do the interims. So I just would say, okay, you do them, send something to us, we can just be the double check, and then you can get them out, and send them out to the taxpayers. So again, just laying out there who's responsible for what moving forward with this change. And the same thing with if there's a refund that's needed, so if somebody does have a reduction, they already paid their bill in the higher assessment, we have that tax money recorded as tax revenue, so we want them to fill out, and we'll create a real estate tax refund form.
Okay,
They can list out, who it is, when that person paid, and then we can,
that way everybody's got the record.
and we will need something to justify it with our auditors. So for them filling out a form telling us that the person paid already, then we have that form to justify the check amount to our auditors.
Perfect.
Can I ask a question? I'm not quite sure, you might have said it. Can we appeal when a parcel gets a reduced assessment?
That
So the
we've already
taxpayers-
done that to us.
I'm sorry, so we have the legal right to do that?
Who's we? The district or the
District.
taxpayers?
The school district.
The school district has the ability to appeal,
Okay,
any changes to the
all
assessment.
right.
It's not overly popular,
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
No,
No, it's not.
but
So, payment dates, a lot of this it does refer back to the resolution that the board passes every 4 years for compensation for their collectors, and installment dates, there's a resolution that we have out there from, I believe it's 2017, so that just stays in effect unless the board decides to change it. So a lot of this kind of refers back to that resolution. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here, it's already been done, so.
Just putting it down already.
Just put it down, yep. The next thing here is deposit collections. We've sort of implemented this prior to getting rid of any tax collection software, but the collector will deposit the funds in a school district account, and it's not commingling with county, municipal, or any other school funds. Again, just putting this all down in writing. So then with the monthly reports here, so they know they gotta do a monthly report. And with the prior system, it was all basically done in the tax software. So now I just wanna make sure that when they do their monthly report, and the form is at the end of this, I just wanna highlight this section right here, that they give us all this information for every person that paid.
Yep,
And it-
that way it can be
do
reconciled.
Council Rock?
Yeah.
How did you highlight it like that?
You can just, and then this guy.
Oh, it's like a little, oh.
Town council.
Well, wait, the outline of it all.
Oh, when you just hover over it, it does it.
I didn't know
I
that.
didn't know that either.
Okay, you got some new update. Oh,
Yeah, it must be something.
All right.
So now, we've always gotten the monthly reports, but we need this detail as well. So who paid, when they paid, address, parcel, amount, whether it's discount, face, or penalty.
All
So just making
reconciled.
sure,
Yep.
correct, yep.
Now that they're using their own thing, can they just, is there a canned report in there that they can print out?
They already have their,
Download and send it to?
They
you?
have their own,
They have their own
yeah,
thing?
they have their own software packages that they're
Right.
using. So I assume there's click a button and it spits it all out, but.
if there wasn't, then
They're
they
not doing it
made a
this
bad
time.
choice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they all had ways of doing it
I'm sure they all have ways
Before.
of doing it, but
until we changed it, and then we changed it back.
they change it back.
So
You
again,
might want to check with them to verify they can put it in that.
I,
form.
actually, it's while we're talking about
they have
that,
reviewed this. I did send this out to all of
Okay.
them. They had,
I just talked to one of them
Many
2 days
questions.
ago, I saw her at the post office, and then I asked, how is everything going with all the changes, and she said everything's great.
And this
Yeah.
is just discussion, this is not an action, we're not.
No.
Okay.
We already done all this, yeah.
yeah, this is just, are you guys okay with this manual, us having this?
I think it's
And the only
great.
question really is, should it go to policy for potential AR?
No, I think it's a great idea, so that they have something, you have something.
And this should outlive,
Mhm.
if
All of
we
us.
win the lottery and we're gone, it's still here and then the next meeting.
Gotcha.
Yeah, again, I don't think there's really anything else here, so there is just a copy
Okay,
of.
that's it? That's
Yeah,
not bad. That's
this
not
is the
bad.
monthly report, which is a DCED form. Nobody has any say in this, it's just a form they have to use.
Okay.
And then they put their report behind that.
And then the
Gotcha.
detail goes behind this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have the deposits, we can look at the bank, we can see the deposits, but they need to list all the people that paid.
Yep, then we
And then
match
that
them up.
needs to match.
Yep, gotcha.
Thank you.
I think that was a great idea. Good
Yeah.
job, thank you.
That was quite an undertaking, I think, reading. I
So,
mean,
kind of rough.
the whole, not word for word though, you
No.
had to like use your
Yeah.
brain.
You gotta go up perfect.
Come on.
Just gotta
It's not
change
even
it.
saved as Castle Rock, it's really weird.
That is weird.
It only shows
Well,
up in
maybe
Adobe.
they did something
It's
so you
like-
can't steal.
Yeah, right? You gotta snip it.
Like,
So they were okay with the penalties that you imposed?
So you need penalties to them if they don't
Yeah.
do the board pass a resolution, it has it in there, it's been in there for 20+ years, so,
Okay,
yeah.
And that's in 606, right? The,
It's not in six,
Is it in their agreement?
It's,
Their
it's in the resolution.
Yeah,
They're aware of it, I
Yeah.
wouldn't say that they're happy with any of it,
but you gotta have a check and balance
Because
somewhere.
Did it, so that when some of them read it.
yeah.
it's in the
so
resolution.
hearing that, I think that speaks to how this should be in there. Like, I think,
I mean, it just makes it nice and clear for everyone.
right.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
All right.
All right, thank you.
I don't know if there's anything to add for the 25-26 budget, ELA and that, I think we kind of covered it during the budget.
Yeah, like,
discussion.
I don't remember, I
kind of
vaguely
remember.
recall seeing something about 8,000 or like a difference from, I looked for it real
He
quick.
forwarded it from Kim.
I
That's why.
searched her
That's why.
name, but then I looked at it for 2 seconds, so I don't, yeah.
I'll see if I
I
can
would like
find
to
it.
like look at that again, and Dr. Roche, if you can find that real quick, maybe you could re-forward it.
Yeah.
Yeah, send it to the EPS committee.
Oh, to EP, okay.
Yeah, but I don't, there's not a, so let me see.
I'm like,
It's hard to
sort of
find that stuff sometimes.
remembering
Yeah, I
some
kind of do
changes,
too.
But it's not clicking.
So it was probably right before she went out.
No, it was, she was already out, because she was,
Okay.
the next week, she was talking to Drew
Yeah.
to clarify, because I think at one point it was a 5-year, and then we realized we were out of budget, so then they went back with a 3-year, so that it would be in close to budget.
Okay.
Because the 5-year, it was about paying half this year, half next year. And it was, in the long run, it may have been a little bit better financially, but we were blowing budgets up. We didn't want to do that. We could be
Okay.
more planning as the time goes on.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, sort of
It was
remembered.
definitely in early March.
All right, and I'll take a look later as well, if you can't find it. I don't deny it exists, I
Me
just
neither.
wish I could remember what it was about.
Okay, so should we move on to Act 319, breach tax calculation, Montgomery County?
Yeah, so this is really, I don't know if it's really a discussion item or informational, but we did have another property. This is only the second one since I've been here. The first one, I think the total, okay, so let me back up. If you're in 319, you get a lower assessed value because you have a property that you're saying you're not going to develop or, do anything with. It's typically
Like the farms
agricultural,
that
the
they.
farm, yeah.
Okay.
And it has to be, I think it's, don't quote me on it,
Like
I
the
think it's
first-
10+ acres in order to qualify, and you have to be actively farming it. You get a reduced assessed value because you're actively farming it.
In some cases, you don't have to be actively farming.
Oh, okay.
That's true.
You just have to, it cannot be developed.
Okay.
That clean agreement.
Actually,
Yeah.
part of it is also defined as, can be used as like a township space.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because that's what some, I know of one individual who had that, and they were upset that people could come onto the property.
Exactly. They can come in.
Oh.
We'll just have a
Camp on
tax
it,
break,
you
but
can
not
walk
give
on it.
anything back. It's
Absolutely.
great.
Yeah, so then if you breach that, if you then start building on it or whatever, you just want to get out of it, you have to pay back taxes of 6 years and you have to pay interest on that.
That's clean and green then.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So the first one that we had was a couple years ago. I think the total amount of taxes that were owed back was like $60 or $70. And I was just like, what, like, we got it, but I didn't pay that much attention. I noticed that they weren't calculating our tax bills properly. The difference was like $2 or $3 or something, and I was just like, whatever. We just got a second one recently. When I calculate the taxes now, compared to how Montgomery County calculated it, it's over $7,000 that I think we're additionally owed.
Okay.
So I brought it up, and there's now a different assessor, I forget the title, a different assessor than when I dealt with a couple years ago. So he's been working with his solicitor, trying to understand how multi-county schools calculate their taxes, because it's not,
That's why.
it's
they-
not millage times assessed value.
They're only doing what North Penn would do, or somebody in
Well,
in
there's
the
also.
middle.
Wouldn't we all love to
Sullerton,
know?
North Penn,
Yeah.
like, I think they're
Lower
both.
Marion, they're all
So
in the,
it-
all in one county.
It kind of concerns me a little bit that nobody knows how to calculate multi-county taxes. So anyway, I'm working with them. Their solicitor is involved because he's been asking me a bunch of questions that we need this provided, we need that provided. So even just today, I had to send him copies of the tax bills from the 2025 taxes, just to show it's not millage times assessed value equals
Right.
tax. It's not how we do it. So I'm hoping we're all gonna come to an understanding here. He'll have he has the calculation, I gave it to him, how to calculate our taxes and what that difference is. So I'm trying to just get that all straightened out. It'll be an extra $7,000 compared to what they calculated. So hopefully we get that resolved.
Okay. And you think that's the only time that ever happened? 2 times?
Twice since I've been here.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting. Keep us posted on
Yeah.
how that works
I'll
out.
see how it hopefully gets
If you could
resolved.
find
I know the
that
guy to talk to.
79 more times, that would help
Yeah, right,
us out.
that'd be great. That'd be great. All right, so
All right.
we move on to informational.
Alrighty, so every year we do get a dividend check from our liability carrier. It's this whole region down here is in, I don't wanna call it a consortium, but the carrier does look at this as a region. And if they make more money on us than what normally, they will give back a portion of that. The year before, I think that dividend check that we received was over $32,000. No, it was over $37,000. So it seems like there was a few more claims
We weren't
in
as good this
24,
year, yeah,
25
right.
than in 23, 24. But happy to accept the $18,000 check.
Sure. Makes sense to me.
That's not a big check, what you said.
Yeah, right.
Publishers Clearinghouse.
Yeah, that's right.
Congratulations to Paula and her team. They passed the USDA commodity audit with no issues, no violations.
Good.
It seems like the food service department is constantly audited with different things, whether, we just talked about the procurement one,
Yep.
the last meeting, this is a commodity one, there's also like a nutritional one or something that they do.
The big one's next year.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So, highly
Coming up.
regulated division, but they did a great job on the commodity and keeping records of.
I'll
of
make sure I
everything.
mention that Thursday night.
And then the last two here are just IFO reports. I think some of these are interesting to look at. The first one there is, what is it? Property tax elimination. So what that looks like, the one proposal that was floated is an increase to the personal income tax, an increase in sales tax, and expanding sales tax to include a few other things. If you take a
Like
look at the
everything,
report,
Probably.
Are we great yet?
it doesn't seem to work financially, but it's out there. The IFO also needed to take a look at the governor's budget proposal that he had for legalizing recreational marijuana and regulating skill games, and there's a few other things that were in there.
Together?
Yeah, right.
That's,
Maybe if they are put together, they get more money.
Yeah, right, maybe that'll just dull everyone's senses and we'll just keep going.
oh my God.
So even with that additional revenue, it's still a $6 billion deficit for 26, 27
Oh,
at the state
boy.
level.
Wah, wah, wah. Okay.
I still can't imagine that would happen, but, okay,
Interesting.
awesome. Oh, yeah, I'm the chair of this committee, okay?
You're up.
Sorry.
Melanie.
So, do we have any public
Oh, I
comments?
do have a lot of public comments.
All right,
And
would you
all
like
the
to
other-
make them?
All the other taxpayers here
Yep,
have some public
have to
comments.
listen to them.
Everyone-
Okay, I'm
gonna
gonna remind you
listen.
again, excuse my voice,
It's okay.
I'm gonna remind you again that our school district, the people of our school district are not like the people that live down in Lower Marion School District. Okay, a lot of them are on fixed income, social security, 2.8% increase. Let's be careful in what we wind up increasing our school taxes. We're gonna be forcing them to leave and go to Florida. And I also realize that the taxable assets that are in a Lower Marion School District are not like ours. We don't have big pharmaceutical companies and so forth.
Or
Yeah, I
malls.
understand, it's a big problem. Okay. Next, I know, Dr. Roach, you and some of the board members can justify keeping the 4-5 building. I want to remind those of you that didn't live here a few years ago, as Melanie and I have, the school board and superintendent let us down the Yellow Brick Road and justified why we do not need that 4-5 building. Okay, you can verify that.
I can verify
Okay.
that.
Now, I'm gonna ask you to ask Drew, what is the cost of the 4-5 building to us today? What does it cost us? The next thing is, if you would ask him to generate that revenue, total cost, employees, everything. And the next thing is, this building. We paid over $1 million for this building when, prior to road real estate having it, it was $950. So we paid a lot more for it. Now, we don't need this building, okay? We could go back to where the district building was back in the 70s, right on the high school grounds. Right on the high school grounds. You could sell this building, it could become a tax asset, as the 4-5 building could be, and we could build something a third the size of this building to accommodate everybody. And that's from a taxpayer standpoint, that's what we should be doing to save money. Okay? Thank you.
John, just so I know it's public comment, but I want to talk about
Go
that
ahead.
just for a second,
Go ahead.
because I mean, obviously, you know what I did
I know
at then.
what we did.
And exactly.
What we
yes,
did.
What we did, yes, absolutely. So we have talked about that recently,
Mhm.
within the last 6-8 months.
The
maybe?
4-5 center?
Yeah,
Do you
the
mean-
4-5, and, or doing what could we do
Yeah.
to lose one of these buildings at least, and put it back on the tax rolls. Totally
If
agree
you,
with you.
if you sell the 4-5 building, the money you get, if you need additional classrooms, although we're losing students to charter at Cyber,
Wanted to.
add a classroom or two at the two elementary schools. And then you'd have it long-term, and that would go on tax. You could
I
sell that
get
for a
it.
ton of money.
I get
There's
it.
developers that would love to build houses on the
Yeah,
back
probably.
fields.
Well, there's the other point too, thank you for saying the backfields, because we use the backfields. We
Yeah.
don't have,
Do-
and
listen.
you know as well as I do, the middle school didn't have room for fields
Right.
because
Right.
it shouldn't have been built there.
Okay.
But,
Yeah, it shouldn't have been built there, right?
yeah, I know.
Okay.
It wasn't big enough.
Yeah.
And the fields we have at the high school, which are technically part of the deed for the middle school.
What about the front of the high school, all that big
Oh,
field there?
We know, but so think about what it takes to excavate that. We just spent $260,000 draining, putting the right drainage in our softball field.
Understand.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just to
Let's
make
let's
it
look
right.
at possible revenue that could come in
I
and
know.
what would have to be spent to permanently solve the problem.
I got you.
Because-
I understand.
Because 4-5 is not habitable, according to
Yeah, I
the
know.
school board.
I remember.
Huh?
I wasn't on it then.
Now the taxpayer, and you think the taxpayers, they don't trust the school board. They don't trust you
I
guys.
understand
At
that.
all. At all. Or you, unfortunately.
He didn't even do anything.
And you weren't even here.
No.
But superintendent, boom, school board, boom. Okay. I'm sorry, do you want to?
No, I thank you for saying that, because I know it's true.
Yeah.
I know it's true.
I do have a question based on that. Did we, you said we did talk about different buildings. I don't recall this building being
Mhm.
discussed. That was in the discussion.
We
We
were-
went through a
how
full,
could-
full
could we-
presentation at a facilities
Yeah.
committee meeting on the topic.
Of this
Yeah.
building.
This
too.
building, the 4-5 center, capacities, going back, what it looks like to put 5th grade at middle school, what it looks like to put fourth grade back in the elementary schools,
Okay.
capacities, with sizes of buildings that are currently there.
We added full-day kindergarten, so that took up more classrooms. Even though the size of the classes came down from what was projected erroneously, we took a really holistic look at it, because you know I would be the first proponent to do that.
Any chance you remember what month of facilities?
Yeah.
I think I saw the presentation, but I don't know if I
No,
was.
but if you
there.
search that Ellen notebook, it's probably in there,
Yeah.
because I'm sure we put it.
The notebook that they made for us, you could search like the entire
For the
thing.
board, you can search past board updates and facilities agendas, those type of
Okay.
things.
Yeah.
All right.
We
'Cause
took the-
trust
I
we took-
remember
we
the
took-
4-5 center discussion
It'll keep on coming up with
vividly.
the
I
public.
just
The
don't
public
remember.
are not gonna
I'm
tolerate.
fine with that. I appreciate it. Go ahead.
Pete, that was a Drew question.
Mhm.
So if the worst case scenario that you were saying, 4.2 plus the STEB and all that stuff, what would that translate into percentage of on my tax bill?
Well,
I can't remember the millage.
For 100,000.
You're talking about millage increase?
yeah, I mean, I could do the math, the rough and dirty, if a 0 is a 10%, so if it went up
So
4%.
it's a 14.2 millage, right?
So 4.2 increase to the millage, correct? Yeah,
And then it was a 10% STEB,
and it was a 10% step, yeah.
so 10% is not millage, 10%.
No,
Okay.
10% is what the average taxpayer would see with the 0%.
So it's just a straight 10%, and then we add the millage.
And then you would add the millage on top, a 4.2
So-
millage
And there's
increase.
still an
And we don't
$8
know what a
deficit.
4.2-ish is.
I don't know how we got there, but I'll have to work that out.
I know there was a formula and I forgot what it was. So what
Yeah.
a 4.2 would translate to percentage.
Throw it in here real quick.
That's what I see. If it's already in there.
Oh, I do have it here. 16.7%,
And then that's still taking 1.6 million out of the capital reserve.
correct.
Yep.
Thank you.
16.
Taxpayers will love that.
Yes. Well aware. All right. Anyone else? Anyone?
I forwarded the email that I sent on March 2nd. It doesn't list exactly $8,000, but it lists some changes from EPS that were discussed from the meeting on the 19th, I believe. Just asked work with Drew on a couple of those things budget-wise, and then waited for her to give me the final package. And being she was out, I asked her to stop emailing people because it got confusing, but she gave it to me and I forwarded that.
And you gave it to us, yeah.
Well, again, I
remember you doing
I
that.
did, that don't want to confuse people with information, but didn't want to sit there.
So I did a quick search. I can use Gemini and Google Drive, and it said October 27th, 2025. The Facilities Committee included a presentation titled Requested Information on the Fifth Grade Center and Ed Center.
Okay. There you go.
So start there.
Thank
What
you.
was it
Yeah,
called?
there
What was it
that.
called?
Requested information on the 4th and 5th grade center and education center. It says it was October 27th to 25.
That makes sense.
I have to dig in and see.
Yeah, that's only, I said 6 or 8 months ago.
Yep, I have the presentation here.
So, John, if you look at October 27th, 2025, the facilities meeting, you can see the presentation about the 4-5 center. Okay.
Doesn't mean we can't sell it.
Yes.
If you get a board in here that will step up and do it, we can sell it.
Maybe.
Yeah, but we have to be reasonable too. I mean, we have to
Sure.
have a functioning school district.
We can.
And you're hearing that from me.
Yeah. Listen, nothing is impossible, is it?
You're absolutely right. October, October.
I'm
October
sending the
27th.
board members right now this presentation.
Okay, I was just gonna write it down for.
Appreciate that.
Okay. All right, we have any other comments?
Yeah, I just want to circle back to the discussion we had at the beginning of the meeting. So I know Trina's going to go to the meeting at the MCIU tomorrow, this executive session. I'm sure that's where they're going to address some of these issues. But I still think we need more definitive answers than moving forward, we'll do this. I think that it was not something done with malfeasance in mind. I think it was just a lack of judgment. But the optics of it are really very concerning to taxpayers who fund the MCIU, whether it's coming from local taxes or federal taxes or state taxes, the MCIU, and for them to say, well, we're only 1%, we're not a taxing authority. No, they're not a taxing authority, but they receive tax dollars to exist. And I really think that we as a district who participates in many of their services, pay them for their services, need a stronger response of how and why this happened, not just how we're going to be more transparent going forward. Even just a sorry, it was a lack of judgment, would be a nice way to perhaps, but trying to justify this, trying to blame the Enquirer for using the wrong travel brochure, all of this is just, to me, looks like it's a cover-up, it's pushing it under the rug, it's hoping that we don't ask any more questions. And I really, we're sitting here looking at another budget deficit, as I would predict most of the 22 school districts, even the ones that are in the more profitable areas, are looking at deficits. Everything's going up. We look and see, we have to pay our teachers. That's where our increase is coming from primarily this year. But here we are struggling to pay our bills, quite honestly. And a leadership in the education world in our county went on a safari. I mean, I don't know how she can justify that without saying, I'm sorry, lack of judgment, I'll never do it again. Quite honestly, I have heard people say that she should be fired.
What exactly do you want me, like, maybe you could,
I put questions in that email that I thought should be addressed. We talked on the phone about what I thought should be addressed. I think
and that's
going back
what I
to,
asked
like,
her.
explain what the audit process was. They said that they went through the procedures in the audit process that was at the time, what was that process? Who did approve that? Why wasn't there transparency? Wasn't there a report when she came back from those trips? Why wasn't there a report to the board of what those trips entailed and what she learned that could help the districts, could help the MCIU do a better job? Forming global partnerships now, when we're struggling to provide the education to the kids in the county, is now the time to look for global partnerships?
Actually, Leah, I don't disagree with you, but there's a couple things that have to be considered. One, school districts are contributing less than 1% of their
Correct.
budget.
Correct.
I'd like to know exactly, how much they're getting from the other group, who they're getting money from, and how much. Who are the majority funders for the MCIU? Is it the state, the federal government, the county? That's what, first I'd like to know where they're getting their money, how much they're getting, and then get an accounting for where they're spending it on. I mean, how much are we giving the IU? A couple $100,000?
No, 40, well, the general operating budget is 41,000, 42,000.
And that is
somewhere.
for
42.
services that we pay for, and
Right,
what we pay for,
right.
they charge us at cost, so like they don't get money
But
off
if
of
they
us.
have money to where they can go out and spend on these things, seeing as it's a county agency, they should be helping support us, is where I'm looking at that, instead of going outside and
Yeah,
traveling and
and I
things like
did
that.
ask her
So that's
about that, but she's
$40,000
saying, like,
that we
if she
could-
gets money from somewhere else.
Right, I
it's
understand that, but-
Designated for a
but
perk,
we're-
like, she can't say Upper Perk needs it. you know
However,
what I
they
mean?
do put together a budget. They control how the budget is, just like we said here, line up, item after line item.
Yeah.
And if they allocated, say, $40,000 for professional judge, for professional development, and they can only use it for professional development, and this year they didn't use it all, well, next year, budget less.
Okay, well,
Budget less. I know it's a use it or lose it scenario, but budget less for the next year.
It was, as she explained, it was right after COVID, and it was
It was from other funds that
Extra
they
money.
received that needed to be
Right.
spent,
Right,
and they were designated
and-
for training.
yeah.
But the
That-
thing
that
is, I
doesn't
mean,
explain
they
why
shouldn't
you
even
go
be going
down
out of the
there.
country for training as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
It's a difference between a school might have an organization, Potts Grove. 20 years ago, they started Chinese club down there, language club. And they sponsored school trips, and they had a sister school in China that they went and visited. But the district didn't pay for any of that.
The parents.
That was all self-funded.
Yes,
If they want to do something like that, that's great. But
exactly.
don't spend tax monies, and this goes back to, ties in with property taxes. I say, when people come complain about our property taxes because our school is based mainly on our local taxes, this has to go back to the state, property tax elimination and proper funding of schools. So it's not just us, but our state reps and representatives need to complain about this and bring,
So I hear you, you disagree with how it's spent, like, I get that, but I just need to go back and ask questions, like, I
Yeah.
can't just go back and say,
I
we don't like
would
this.
no, well,
So,
the
like-
questions, give us an accounting of how much was spent for these trips,
40,
basically.
the paper reported
Well, what-
$40.
Right, but they also said that they use these trips for education. They've also led to employment for individuals overseas. Give us concrete examples of this. Don't
Okay.
say, oh yeah, somebody
So you
got a job doing it.
You want more of
What
like
did
the
they-
outcome, like what was.
Yes, I
Absolutely.
want more
That's what
meat
I've been saying, more
than the
over and
bonus that
over.
they provide.
Give me
Because
examples
I
of
can
that.
show you their budget, but I can promise you, it's a lot, but like, it's a lot. It's 21
$198
districts that
Mhm.
they, included in their budget, and it's not a budget that we are used to.
Right,
It's,
And I was there,
different.
I was
Yeah.
there before you, and I understand all of this, and their budget is it's not as transparent as ours is. I will tell you that, because, it's $198 million. So you can't really look at line item by line item in a board meeting.
right, like, that's what I'm asking you. If you want me to go to this meeting and come back with that, I don't know
No,
that I'm
that's-
gonna promise that. I
it's
can
like-
give you a link to look
They,
at
they,
there.
they have to know now how much was spent on those trips. They have to know after all
I
this
I think the
investigation.
numbers were accurately reported as far as the
So if
dollar
it was
amounts.
$40,000,
Yeah.
I won't beat that dead horse. But to Keith's point, and what I've been saying all along, is what was the outcome of
Okay.
these trips?
That I can-
Well,
How did that
Number-
what was the
benefit?
intention of the trip?
Right,
Okay.
what was the
well, it was to
What are you
intention?
gonna
build
learn?
Yeah,
rapport,
no.
build rapport and alliances with international allies. Is
That's-
what it boils down to, is what their broad
That was
statement
the
was.
spin statement.
But, yes, thank you. But, okay, if they spent $40,000, how many days did they spend there? How many days was travel? How many days were free? How many days were actually in conferences or in observation?
That's what I
And
mean, what
not
was the intent?
trips? And if this led to employment contracts for individuals out of the county, give us examples. We don't need names and numbers, but, well, we do need numbers, number of individuals that might have gotten them, and what they're doing, and how it directly affects us here locally.
In our county.
Because the other thing is, outside of the United States, education is funded completely different.
Right, absolutely.
That's why we're in these
Yeah.
situations.
Not by property taxes, for sure.
All right, so I've gotten,
So-
like, Leah, or if both of you want to know, like, what was the intention and what was the outcome, what was gained, like, from something palpable, and what was gained from this? And then, regarding contracts, and you had said you want to know if they help us or affect us. Just keep in mind, I'm not gonna answer for them, and I will ask that, but they also support themselves too, like, they have pre-K and,
Sure.
Head Start.
Sure, and they have
So they have
workforce
programs
development and
that are
other things
just-
like that.
I
So
don't think
it's
we need the whole
multifaceted agency,
$198
but
million accounted for. Just the stuff that you think, it just looks like it's such an outlier.
Yeah, okay, I got it. All right.
And I'm pretty sure they don't get county money, but they do get the.
I don't know. I'd like to know where they get their monies from.
Yeah, they're not funded from Montgomery County.
No, it's mostly federal.
Put out by the commissioners.
Yeah, I didn't read
It's
the
probably
whole
that
thing.
same carry-through that Drew was saying, it's probably federal through the state.
Right.
Right.
It comes into the state.
And all
and
gets
gets
divvied as it
distributed to
goes.
the.
Well,
to the
again,
SO.
if they're getting that kind of money from the federal through the state, some of that money should be very to us. Plain and simple.
It's not our money.
I'm
Yeah.
hearing that you would like to go on a safari. Is that right?
No,
No.
Yeah, I have no interest in going on safari, but I
don't
wouldn't
have
mind
any-
traveling.
you know, I just don't have any interest in going.
And my
on-
pension here is just not paying for that.
Yeah, right.
So, but anyhow, let's
Amen.
wrap this up and,
Okay.
because I don't want to beat it to death.
No, I don't wanna be.
So- But I wanna go with legitimate questions I can get the answers to. I don't wanna go and just say, we're angry.
Well,
Yeah,
you're
no, I'm
using
not-
the examples
No,
they
it's not
gave.
about being angry, it's about being transparent and accountable for what they did. And not going forward, we're not going to do this. But we already did this, these are the outcomes, and going forward, we'll be more transparent.
Okay.
All right.
By the
Yeah,
way,
go ahead.
Just to make a note, April 20th is at 6 p.m.
Oh, that's right, thank you, I always forget to say that.
Guess what, when I was there?
I'll remind them.
Well, we had the policy meeting will not be on April 20th, I believe.
Right.
So
Why
we
not?
bumped it back
Why,
to-
why not?
Peg won't be there to have the meeting, so she won't be, I guess, in town.
Okay.
So she's changing it to the
28th.
28th?
28th,
Um,
April 28th is the next
Policy
policy.
April 28th.
That's,
Okay.
that'll be in the update, probably on the agenda for tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Thursday.
Right.
Right.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Friday's
Right.
update, Thursday's board agenda,
Right.
is the revised.
Right.
Okay.
And
I'll
there's
call
still,
for
and there's a
an
question
adjournment.
about
So, hold on, this policy then at 6 PM on April 28th,
5:30.
5:30.
It's 5:30 next Tuesday, the 31st, and then 5:30, April 28th, policy. Communications Committee is moving off of 4:20 as well, that's why this moved up, I think, no. They can't do the same as the board workshop, so they're going to, for 23 at 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
at the-
before
Before extracurricular, which could be at the high school if the weather's nice, because
Oh,
we're
that's
gonna
right.
go outside,
sports.
to come back here for finance, facilities, on the April
27th.
27th, thank you. I have all the dates straight.
Somewhere, yeah.
It'll be on the agenda.
I'll
That'll
get
be
the dates on
Tuesday.
Thursday.
Check out the
Yeah,
agenda.
let's look at the agenda.
Yeah, and it just kills me that the calendar doesn't connect, so I have to like manually.
Yeah, Michelle will update the calendar.
Really?
and everyone's-
It doesn't go to me, it will not
Really?
like transfer. I have to go through the web and like,
Oh.
so it won't go to my calendar, it goes to yours?
Yeah,
Doesn't
just
go to your
in your
personal
mail,
account.
you just hit the
It
calendar.
doesn't come on.
No, no,
It
Yeah,
doesn't-
it doesn't go to my.
Wait,
it
let's
doesn't-
have a meeting adjourned.
All right, all in
Yeah, we
favor?
can,
Motion
second,
adjourned?
sorry.
Yeah, thank you. Second.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes.
No, it's okay, I just thought that we would do that.
Mhm.
Yeah, when I